Let's get to the UFO update. Major new report from journalist Michael Schellenberger. Let's put this up there on the screen. Everybody stick with me. The details are important. So, new government whistleblower reveals for the first time the quote, the name of an unacknowledged special access program for the unidentified anomalous phenomenon, otherwise known as UAPs. So, the name of that program is Immaculate Constellation. Why does this matter? The name of the report, named in the report by this alleged government whistleblower, is specifically the name of the program for quote-unquote UFO retrieval that was launched after 2017. Now, to be clear, the Pentagon is denying the existence of said program. The Pentagon said that they have no record of any program known as Immaculate Constellation. I will get to in a second why that matters and specifically why it is total bullshit. But the reason why, if you look at the overall existence of this, is it centers on Congress. So people will remember that I was at that UFO hearing, which was led by multiple members of Congress. You had the testimony of Dave Grush, who was the UFO whistleblower, about the existence of these programs that he had seen and had got and pushed through the Inspector General. Well, since then, what has since happened is more ramping up, Krystal, within Congress of questions specifically around the Grush allegations, the DOD and the Inspector General's report. Now, what they have found is basically blocking at every turn, and this is from the congressmen themselves. I believe that they are trying to get another hearing in the works, but the point is that this report and others like it from Grush are giving congressional investigators and members of Congress the ability to try and to search for very specific types of things through FOIA, through records requests, and by having names and others, it's very important to be able to dig. The historical analogy I would use is the only reason that we ever learned about many of the shenanigans that the CIA and the FBI were up to under the Church Committee was specifically because some, and I'm not advocating this, but it wouldn't be the worst thing if it happened, is some people broke into a FBI facility and they stole these documents. From them, we had the names from these CIA programs, like what happened with the Black Panthers, like the LSD experiments and all this stuff. And thus, the Church Committee and members of the press and others were able to use FOIA to actually go and to look for what all that was. If that had not happened, there is no Church Committee and there's no revelation about what happened. That's why the name of this program matters a lot. So
yeah, so Ken Klippenstein has talked to me about this before because he does a lot of FOIA requests. And by the way, it's also obnoxious, like, you have to have a lawyer. It's not something that an ordinary citizen or even an ordinary journalist without a legal backing behind them can engage in, because they'll just completely stonewall you. But part of the key of a successful FOIA request is you have to be able to ask very specifically for what you want. And so if you don't know the name of the program, you'll be fishing around and they can just say, no, don't have anything that meets that. Okay. And so that's why knowing the name of the program so that you can actually make an effective FOIA request that they are legally obligated to fulfill in some manner after some period of like fighting you in court and whatever, that's why this is important.
Could take a decade, yeah. So I want everybody to understand this. This is not all going to come out like immediately. Now, Michael actually was on the Joe Rogan podcast just yesterday. He broke some of this down. Let's take a listen.
In that report, they claim that that the Pentagon is illegally withholding information from Congress about a secret UAP program. And that secret UAP program is considered a parent program of other programs, but it's called Immaculate Constellation. I was told I had it confirmed by a second source that this is the name. I also was told that if we revealed the name that we would probably get under surveillance.
If I wanted to spread misinformation or disinformation, if I was an intelligence agent, I think I would get someone to be a whistleblower. I would sanction whistleblowers. I would tell them, go on podcasts, go on radio shows, go on television, and discuss all these different disclosures. And you can't tell them everything. Your top secret stuff, some stuff you got to keep secret. Boy, I wish I could tell you, but there's more I can't tell you. There's a lot going on. And that's a really good way, I would think, if I was in control of a narrative that I wanted to be continuously slippery. Like, this is a very slippery conversation. Like, you never get to the end of it.
And what would be the motivation?
Because there's some sort of a program that exists that they want to hide, and the best way to hide it is to continually bring up and then debunk these fake programs.
I'm comfortable saying I'm like 95% that the government is hiding information.
Okay. So,
and the reason I'm so confident of that is because Donald Trump said so multiple times that they're hiding information. And I cite him in the article.
They probably told him that. And also, they lied to him about a bunch of stuff.
Oh,
and
sure.
Didn't even tell him about Chinese drones because they were worried he was going to shoot him down.
So they told him something that he says has not been made public to the American people. So if that's so, my view is, look, if you think it's either a secret weapons program, that it's a government disinformation program, that it's just missightings, then I want the government. They have an obligation to tell us.
Yeah, so that it's a good pushback. But anyway, I'll get to a little bit. Now, remember when I said that they had no record of the Immaculate Constellation? That's what the DoD is claiming. Get this. So when Dave Grush came forward in 2023, and this Google trend should not exist, it just so happened that there was a massive spike of people searching Immaculate Constellation right next to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Dayton, Ohio. So again, this is a term which nobody knows. Nobody's out there searching Immaculate Constellation. What they were worried about was that the name of that program had been leaked under Grush, and they were searching those people around that area for the name Immaculate Constellation. Whoa, it so suddenly and shockingly appears there in Dayton, Ohio. So I think that's evidence there of something going on for why were so many people right around this Air Force base just searching for this miraculously, especially a base that's well known within that. I think what this does is it gives us a quiver into something to actually for Congress to begin looking into. And that's part of the problem, and I understand, I guess, where Joe is coming from, but he needs to understand like what pressure that Grush himself is already under. I mean, the guy's life is being investigated to high hell by the U.S. government, basically lost his job. There's no incentive for a lot of these people to come out. Additionally,
yeah, there's a lot of incentive to not come out.
The incentive, they're destroying him. I mean, remember they leaked that whole thing about his PTSD incident and all of that? Like, he has talked about having threats to his life. I don't know if it's true or not, but that's what he says. But in general, like, his career has not gone well as a result of it. It's not like it has been good for his personal life. Additionally, I think what it says is, somebody was explaining this to me, was that previously, one of the reasons that UFO legislation had gone down, the UAP Disclosure Act, was so pressured by the intelligence community, was specifically to stop them from the ability to uncover the very special access program that exists like right here. And now for everybody out there, I get it. Everyone keeps saying, oh, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming, etc. I totally understand. But you have to remember we just had Jefferson Morley on about JFK. It's been 60 years and we still don't know. You know, if you think about it, there were all these conspiracy theories in the 1950s of people who were saying the CIA has brothels where they're drugging people. And people were like, you're crazy. Like, what's wrong with you? 25 years later, you're like, oh, actually, not only was he totally right, it's way crazier than you could have ever imagined. If I had told somebody in the street in America the CIA wanted to blow up Castro with the cigar, they would have said, you are out of your mind.
Or make his beard fall
Or
out.
make his beard fall out. Yeah, that's true. These are real. This actually happened. If I go back to the Spanish-American War or whatever, and I was like, wait, maybe it's America that blew up the USS Maine. Again, hanged for treason. Never would have happened. 100 years later, what do we know? It's true. Or it's probably true. So it's like, I'm just saying, for the incredulity and just the way that people think about, like, oh, it's just taking a long time. It's not that easy. When the government wants to keep a secret, especially a very, very tightly held one, here, they can do it. And it can take titanic efforts on behalf of the public to even, inch forward to getting it. That's all I would say.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, I want to see. It's going to take a while. By the way, Congress, after this whole election nonsense is up, let's get back and let's get to work.
Hey, Trump, if he knows all this stuff, like, brother, you're already in trouble with the law. You're already in trouble for classified documents. May as well just, like, let the American people know.
Well, if he becomes president, he should just immediately, sign all
this.
And
why didn't he last time?
Well, last time around, he had Mike Pompeo in his ear, famously, especially about the JFK thing. We were talking about this with Jefferson Morley, and they're like, oh, you just can't let the public, know any of this stuff. And I think it's just, look, it is crazy. Obama, Trump, I mean, remember what Obama said? He was like, yeah, you know, it's, he's like, there's some things that are out there, but we couldn't release it to the public. He said something along those lines. John Podesta, I always talk about this, who was the chief of staff to Bill Clinton in the White House, huge UFO guy. He tried for years to get the CIA and others to tell him about these programs, and he was the White House chief of staff with Yankee white security clearance, and they blocked him out completely. So just evidence.
Someone should ask Joe Biden about this, and maybe his half-cooked brain will not realize that he shouldn't be saying what he's saying.
They wouldn't even tell Biden.
Accidentally let it out.
Biden is the ideal president for them. They're like, oh, what a joke. You know, it's like in the UK, they have a joke called Yes Minister, where the deep state basically over there just jokes that whoever's in this yokel who's in charge, the political guy, they're like, forget about it. We've seen 50 of them come and go. So for them, Biden is the ideal president in terms of who you can just hoodwink the entire time. All right, thank you guys for indulging that. We will, if there's any breaking news over the weekend, we'll see you. Otherwise, we'll see you all next week. Hey, if you like that video, hit the like button or leave a comment below. It really helps get the show to more people.
And if you'd like to get the full show ad-free and in your inbox every morning, you can sign up at breakingpoints.com.
That's right. Get the full show, help support the future of independent media at breakingpoints.com.